Hello, everyone, and a very good morning to all our dear viewers who have joined us all the way from Texas, and a very good evening to all the viewers who are here who have joined us from India. As it's 6:30 p.m. in India, and according to the timings in Texas, it's around 8 a.m. in the morning. We are joined today by a very popular and eminent speaker who has joined this talk show all the way from Houston, Texas, Miss Marsha Lynn Hudson. Please welcome her as she joins us today to give us this very significant and vital live session speech on a very vital issue that ma'am is going to throw light on is teaching in a multicultural society. So it's over to you, ma'am. Without wasting time and without much ado, I would straight away hand it over to you to give us an insight into this significant topic that you wish to cover today through your speech.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And yes, good morning here in Houston, Texas. And wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening. But I'm so excited to be here today. And I'm so excited about this opportunity to bring this topic to you, something that is very near and dear to my heart, teaching in a multicultural society. And I have been doing that for a long time. And I want you to, we're all teachers and educators, so I want you to grab your pen and grab your paper because we're going to get started. I'm going to share my PowerPoint here in a minute. But I wanted to thank GETI, and I love that where we can learn and teach and share as educators because we are in a mix, a multicultural society, a mix of students. And we have to be the ones to help our students get ready for this multicultural society. So I'm going to share my screen here and get right to it. Okay, let's see my screen here. Okay, so today we want to talk about teaching in a multicultural society. And it is just that, right? It's a mix. It's just a mixture of everything that we are doing today. And I really love this saying here, a good education can change anyone, but a good teacher can change everything. So let that sink in for a minute because it is up to us as educators to make the change, the positive change that we need in our classrooms. So let me tell you a little bit about me. And so people say, Marsha, you wear so many hats, but I love them. And I am a digital marketer and also a brand strategist. I help people and I help educators in schools build their brand because we all have a brand. So as an education consultant, I love working with educators. I've written a few books. And my latest book is Train Your Mind for Success because I really believe that, and I know that we can train our minds for success. I'm a content creator. As a professor of writing, I've been a professor at the college for about 22 years. Before that, I taught K through 8 in private school. So I've been in this space a long time. And I love writing. I love being a photographer. I'm also a podcaster. I have a Teaching with Passion and Success podcast. I'm a blogger, YouTube. So I've been in this space a long, long time. And people say, well, Marsha, what do you do for fun? Do you have time for that? Yes, but I believe in having balance and harmony. And so in my free time, I love reading and writing and walking and just getting away, for short getaways. And I am a wife and to my partner, my best friend, Malcolm Hudson. And I believe in living our lives with purpose. And this is my latest book that I'm working on, which will be coming out soon, entitled Discover Your Greatness. So it gives you a little insight about me. So grab your pen and paper. We're all educators, right? And stay to the end because I have a gift for you at the end. So be sure and hang in there with me. So what are we going to talk about today? When I was asked to give this training and I really I really believe in us as educators in this multicultural society. And I thought, what do I want to share with these awesome people who are going to get up and spend about 30, 35 minutes with me? What do I want to share with them? And so it came to me, I want to talk about the 4 secrets to building a successful culture of diversity in the classroom. Are there secrets? Well, maybe, but we're going to unfold them today. I also want to talk about 3 mindset set shifts because as educators, and I think about this for my own life all of the time, we have to have these mindset shifts. Now, I've been in this space a long time, and maybe some of you have been in a long time, and maybe you're just getting in. And sometimes we forget that we need to probably have these mindset shifts. And then lastly, I want to share with you 6 ways to define and develop your classroom culture. So grab those pens. Let's talk about secret number 1. And as an entrepreneur and an educator and who's been working with so many students and all walks of life, ages, and groups and just from everywhere, and I've really enjoyed it. One thing that I had to tell myself, and I said, Marsha, get to know your students, not just their names. Get to know their backgrounds, get to know their likes, get to know what makes them them, get to know their identities, get to know our students. And that is so important when it comes to being in this mix, in this multicultural society and being successful in your classroom and building a culture. So we have to get to know the whole student, not just their name, the whole student. So that's the first secret. Secret number 2, we have to maintain consistent communication with our students. And sometimes when I'm in the classroom teaching and my students are not saying anything, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I'm the only one in the classroom talking. But we never know how our students are feeling. We never know how a topic is resonating with them. We never know what's going on with them. And I've taught from K to 8 to college to 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. I've taught the gamut. And what I've realized is if I don't keep good, consistent communication with my students, there's a disconnect. And we don't want to disconnect from my students because we're trying to build a successful culture in our classroom. So we always have to keep and maintain consistent communication. So secret number 3, you want to incorporate diversity in your lesson plan. And a few years ago, when I started doing training at the college, we would have diversity and inclusion trainings every year. And so I thought about, am I incorporating diversity into my lesson plan, or am I putting into my lesson plan what I think and what I feel? And I realized that I hadn't really incorporated diversity into my lesson plan. So I started diving into some research and looking into ways that I could actually do that. And when I started adding activities that included the culture and the background of my students, my classroom came to life. And when I started having activities where my students could write about their cultures, write about their traditions over the weekend and bring it into the classroom, I mean, it just opened up just these doors. It just opened up a place in my classroom where I could see my students just coming to life. I could see the smiles on their face. They felt so good. They felt like a part of the classroom. And adding diversity into our lesson plan, it just opens up a new atmosphere in our classroom where it's not just teaching and students are sitting and they're going over what we want, but we are including them. And so when I started doing this, I'm like, I love this. I'm celebrating differences. And then I thought, how can I continue to do this? And so I just continued to incorporate diversity in my lesson plan, and my classrooms changed. So secret number 4, Show respect for every student. And as an educator, and I've been in this classroom, and oh my goodness, I can't believe straight out of college, right? For a long time, fresh and new. And I thought, what am I going to do as a new teacher when I get into my classroom? And sometimes I drop the ball. Sometimes I struggle. I mean, sometimes we have classroom issues, right? Sometimes we have discipline issues. Sometimes we're stressed out as educators, burnt out, worn out, right? And we tend to forget that when we show respect for every student, whether the student has really good behavior or maybe the student is not, behaving the way we would like, I found that the best way to kind of counteract behavior issues is to show the student respect. No matter what's going on, no matter where the student comes from, no matter the differences, respect. And you know what? It goes beyond the classroom. Respect with the other educators in my school, respect with my coworkers, respect with leaders, educational leaders. It goes respect at home, right? In our families. It just goes a long way. So it goes beyond just the students, showing people respect, letting them know I'm here for you, letting them know I can hear you, letting them know even though I may not agree with what you're doing or I may not agree with your actions, I'm still going to respect the person that you are. And sometimes we try to change people, right? And we try to make them into this mold like we are. And I learned along the way, respecting a person and a student or an educator, respecting where they come from, where they backgrounds are, it just makes it for a culture of success. It makes it where it's a place where we want to go every day. So those are the four secrets that I learned in my experience. When I incorporate this, my classrooms are so different. My students are engaged. They're having a good time. They actually want to come to class. And I love it too. I enjoy it. And so when we incorporate these four secrets, we're building a classroom of culture. And one classroom at a time, classroom one, classroom two, classroom three. And when we do this, we actually transform our schools. So it has been said that students don't care how much we know, right? Until they know how much we care. So let that sink in for a few seconds. Students don't care. We know a lot, right? We have degrees, we have bachelor's degrees, we have master's degrees. I have my EDS degree. I mean, I have lots of degrees. We read, we study, we prepare. But students don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. Just showing students a little bit of respect and showing them that I care, no matter what's going on with you, no matter your background, no matter where you come from, where you're going, your family background, what life has done. I'm here for you. It makes a big difference in opening up the doors for students to be open to us and for them to be ready to receive what we have for them. So let's talk about the 3 mindset shifts for every educator. And when I was thinking about mindset shifts, and I think about them all the time. In 2020, when we had the pandemic, right? I was a little bored and I was home every day, all day. And as a writing professor, I'm a writing teacher. I teach literature. I teach composition. I've always been a writer. Even in high school, I wrote on the paper. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I always knew I wanted to be an educator, and I really focused on writing. And so in 2020, the pandemic, I was like, okay, I'm a little bored. So I wrote a book called Train Your Mind for Success. And in my studies and my research on training your mind for success, I realized that we could actually do that. We could actually train our minds for success. And in that time when I was studying and researching for my book, it's like a journal, a book. So a shameless plug for my book. It is available at Amazon. But in my journal, Train Your Mind for Success, I realized mindset shifts were so important. and I needed to have them too. If I wanted to be an educator that changes the culture of my classroom, and I do, semester after semester, we walk in, we get new students, we get this new mix in our multicultural society. If I wanted to change the culture of my classroom, I had to change my mindset. And I realized that I had some things that were not aligning with where I wanted to go for my classroom. So I want to share these 3 mindset shifts that I learned about in my study when I was writing the book, and mindset shifts that I actually kind of sit down and do a checklist for my own self on a regular basis, even now. So mindset shift number 1. We have to be thoughtful of our words and our actions, not just toward our students, but everyone in our school, in our community, whether it's parents, school leaders, our principals. We have to be thoughtful. And I have to say, even for myself, sometimes we say things and I'm like, that wasn't a good thing to say. Or maybe I should have said that. Or, ooh, could I have done that differently? And so when we think about even like being in a teacher's lounge or being in a room with teachers, and we have this mix, we have this multicultural society, which is a society we need to actually celebrate. Being thoughtful, thinking about what you want to say, and thinking about how you want to act before you actually do it. And I like to have conversations with myself before I actually say something and do it. It really is a mindset shift. And sometimes we say things that we think that we're being nice or we think that it's okay. But in actuality, we don't know how the other person feels or we don't know how that came out to them. So when we practice, and to me, being thoughtful with my words and action, I just try to say to myself, how would I want to feel? How would I want to feel? And we want to make sure we're always trying to include people, whether we're in a room full of a lot of people or whatever. How do I want to feel myself? And this is what I want to do when I say things and when I'm doing things where others are concerned. So mindset shift number 2. And this will really change the culture of your classroom, and it will also help you as an educator, school leader, think positively, talk positively, and celebrate differences. And I keep saying celebrate differences because somewhere along the way in my educational journey, sometimes I just didn't understand the differences of some of my students. I didn't understand why certain things were going on. I didn't understand. And so I didn't really respond well to those differences. And sometimes we feel like, okay, this is something I have to do. This is just more work, right? But instead of looking at it as more work, I like to say, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate the differences. And when I change my mindset from looking at, okay, this is something new I have to do, this is extra work. When I change my mindset to let's celebrate these differences, wow, so much happened. And when I think positive, and every day I'm like, this is going to be a great day at school. This is going to be a great class. This is, and I've gotten to a place in my mind where it's just a habit. Now, do I drop the ball sometimes? Of course. But I get up in the morning and I plan on it being a good day. Does life happen? Of course, life happens. Do we have challenges? Of course, we have challenges. But if we get up and think that it's going to be a good day, even Monday, right? It's going to be a good class. I'm going to do a great job. I'm going to think positively. I'm going to talk positively, motivating, encouraging. And I have 3 words that I tell my clients because I am an educator. I'm a brand strategist. I help people build their brands. I help educators. I help entrepreneurs build their brand. I help schools build their brand. And I tell people that when you are trying to build a brand and you're trying to make changes, talk in a positive manner. Use words that are positive. And I have 3 words that I like to tell my clients. Pick 3 words at the beginning of the year and let those words be your core words. Let those words guide you throughout the year. Let those words surround your values. And my 3 words are educate, empower, and elevate. And those are the words I chose at the beginning of the year. And we are almost at the end, right? And I told myself, educate, empower, and elevate. And so whenever I'm speaking or I get up on a stage or I'm doing a training, I'm doing a DEI training for a school or an organization, or I'm doing a virtual training or a workshop or a branding workshop, or whatever I show up and I say, Marsha, make sure you educate. Make sure you empower, because you can do what you want to do. See, the thing about it is we create the life we want to live. We create it. We write the story. We write the story of the lives that we want to live each day. So if you want to live a certain lifestyle as an educator, a school leader, a parent, or just in your business or your lives, maybe you have a side business, whatever it is you want to do, you create the story. You write it every day. And so when we think in a positive manner, and I talk about elevating, let's move forward. What happens when we have this type of mindset shift is like the universe opens. The universe opens and brings what we desire. It's amazing, but it's true. It opens up. The universe just matches what we say. It matches what we say. And it just brings what we want. And so now we can celebrate all of the differences. I kind of get on the soapbox with mindset shift number 2, because it's so true what we say. So mindset shift number 3. Don't judge a book by its cover, and work on eliminating judgments. Now, that is a mindset shift that I really needed to work on in my educational journey. And even now, moving forward, sometimes we do. We see someone and we think, oh, this person is like this. Or, oh, that person is of that group. This is what that person's going to do. Or, oh, I'm sure this is going to happen. Or this person thinks like this. And it's not a good way to try to be a part of what I call this multicultural society. And it's a mindset shift that I had to work on, and I have to work on daily. We cannot judge a book by its cover. We cannot look at a student and say, okay, well, that student's not going to be much. I know of so many case studies, and I'm sure you do too. So many stories of maybe students that we had or we've known, and they were just really acting up in school, and we thought, wow, what's going on with this student? And then they went on to be something great. They went on to open businesses. They went on to, be in big positions. We just cannot judge a book by its cover. We just cannot. But we need to be a part of what I say is opening that book and discovering what's inside of that book, going past that cover, and working on eliminating judgments. We do not want to pass judgment on maybe a student or a teacher or a coworker or someone in our school, because I like to say, let's give people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes people are having bad days. Sometimes people are having a bad month, right? But when we have this mindset shift of let's open this book, let's dig deeper into this book, let's move past what we see when it comes to a student or anybody in our circle. And let's not make judgments. What happens when we have this mindset shift? We tend to move past biases. We tend to move past not giving people the benefit of the doubt. And we tend to move past our own thoughts and our own decisions when it comes to what we think and feel or how we think a student should be. So, mindset shifts are something that when we put our minds to it and we work on it daily, things will change. The culture of your classroom will change. You will change. The people, you can change the people around you in a positive manner. And so think about these mindset shifts and ask yourself, do I need to do any of them? Because I ask myself all of the time, and then we need to work on them. So let's talk about the 6 ways to define and develop your classroom culture. So you might say, okay, Marsha, you've given me some good tips. I hope that's what you're saying, right? You've given me some good tips as an educator to change the culture of my classroom. And and when you do this, you actually transform your school because you're not only, helping your students, you're being a beacon or a light for the other instructors or teachers, and you're being this positive force there with your principals and in your community. It just transforms your school. So 6 ways, how can I define and develop my classroom culture, Marsha? Number 1, ensure a sense of belonging among your students. We have to make sure our students feel like they belong. When they feel like that, they will open up more for us. Number 2, ensure psychological safety. When students are feeling like I can't say this or I can't express myself, they don't feel safe, in their minds. Opening up. We have to make sure as educators, we are creating an environment where students feel safe to be free to share, safe to be free to open up. And I tell my student, and I'll say, okay, so who wants to talk about this? And don't feel like something is wrong, or don't feel embarrassed, or don't feel like because it's different. Let's just talk about these things because we don't want you to feel like you can't say something. And I always tell my students, no question is a dumb question because they'll say, well, Professor Hudson, I didn't ask the question because I felt like it was a stupid question or I didn't want to be embarrassed. And we have to continue to ensure psychological safety with our students, even in when I was teaching K through 8, we got first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, same. Students need to feel safe. When they feel safe, they open up. And we want to use praise well. And I like to tell my students, you guys are doing such a great job. I'm so proud of you for doing this. Or maybe you didn't get this done, but that's okay. It'll be better next time. Use praise well when it is true, right? And these things help define and develop our classroom culture, and we just practice them. We practice them every day, and what happens is we practice day 1, we practice day 2, and before you know it, week 1 is gone well, week 2 is gone well, the month is gone well, the school semester is gone well when we practice and define and develop these things in our classroom. So the other ways, number 4, set rules and expectations. Students need rules, okay? And I like to let my students know, I expect you to do well. I gave them a homework assignment that's due in a few days, and I said, I expect it to be done well. I expect it to look good. I expect that you put some work into it. Set rules and expectations and let them know, you know what? They will rise to our expectations. Okay. Establish routines in your classroom and be consistent. Consistency goes a long way with students and even in your business as an educator in your life. Consistency. And someone said, and I think it may have been here in the States, we have Oprah Winfrey. You may know her, but she said, on the other side of consistency lies success. On the other side of consistency lies success. Establish routines in your classroom and be consistent with them daily. You will see such a difference in your classroom and your school. And develop culture-based activities in your classroom. And I started, having like a culture day where they can bring in something, draw a picture, do a piece of artwork, bring it in, we'll get in a circle, we'll talk about it. It just really opens up your classroom. It just makes a change in your classroom and in you. I know it's done that for me and even in your school. So as we wrap up in summary, and I have a gift for you, like I was saying, for you guys to stay to the end with me. The secret to your success is actually you. And that is my phrase, my motto, okay? And if you follow me, and I hope you do on social media, because I give so many trainings and tips and strategies and Zoom sessions and things like that for my educators, my entrepreneurs. But in my YouTube video, I always say, don't forget you are the secret sauce to your success. And it's something that I said to myself as this place that we're living in started changing after 2020. And I was teaching online. We were all teaching online, right? And I was thinking, this is difficult, right? We're teaching everything online. But I had to say to myself, I'm the secret sauce to my success. What I do every day, the choices I make, the decisions I make, the ones that I don't make, the changes that I make, the ones that I do not make, the mindset shifts. I'm the secret sauce. I'm the secret sauce. Whether it's in my classroom, whether it's in my business, whether it's in my college, in my school, in my life, if I want my life to be what I want it to be, I'm the secret sauce. I have to take daily action steps to make things happen. Number 2, give students praise and encouragement. Give students praise and encouragement, even when they may not be acting the way we like. Give them praise and encouragement. It will change the trajectory of your classroom. Mindset shifts, number 3, are key for this multicultural society we live in. We have to have mindset shifts. Now, I'm a little older. You guys know I told my age. I've been in education for like 30 years, so you know I'm a little up there. I've had to have mindset shifts. When I started as an educator years ago, things weren't the way they are today. And so we develop these mindsets. But as time goes on, we have to shift them. Number 4, be open and celebrate differences. It's not that we have more work to do. It's not that, oh, I have to learn more. No, it becomes a celebration. You learn from the differences. You grow from the differences. Be open to that. Number 5, turn your classroom into a safe and fun place for students. The classroom doesn't have to be all about just lecture or teaching or getting through this lesson or getting through the curriculum, right? Or, setting up these standards. Why can't it be fun sometimes? Why can't it be a safe place to express and for students to feel like they can share? And why can't it be fun? Learning can be fun. Learning can be fun. And number 6, build a successful culture in your classroom. And when you do that, you will transform your school. You will transform your school. We're all a part of the solution. The teachers and educators, the principals, the school leaders, the parents, the community. We're all a part of building a successful culture. I like this saying by Andres Tapia. Diversity is the mix. We have it in our classrooms. And I have seen it all. Somebody asked me, they're like, wow, you've been an educator for a long time. Have you seen it all? I'm like, I think I've seen it all, but maybe not. I have seen a lot in the 30 years, from K to 8 when I taught at the private school for 13 years. For college, I've been teaching at the college for 20 plus years. I have seen a lot. I have witnessed quite a bit. And I realized that, yes, diversity is the mix, but making people feel a sense of belonging, making people feel and students feel safe, and making them feel respected. Inclusion is making the mix work. Diversity is the mix, but inclusion is making the mix work. And that's what we do every day as educators. The teacher sets the atmosphere for the classroom. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Be sure and connect with me online. I am on LinkedIn at Marsha Lynn Hudson, Facebook. My business page is Marsha Lynn Hudson Brand Strategist. Twitter, Marsha Lynn Hudson. We had to leave out one of the I's because there wasn't enough space. Of course, I'm on other sites. You can also go to marshalynnhudson.com and find me on other sites. I always give tips and strategies and resources on entrepreneurship, DEI training, education consulting. Now, I want you all to take a screenshot, and go get the free gift that I have created for you. It is a great gift that I have created for you, and it is at Marsha Hudson Training. .ejunkie.com, and you can also get there from my website. So if you take a screenshot and head to that site, Marsha Hudson Training on eJunkie, I have created for you the DEI, Diversion, Equity, and Inclusion Toolkit. So you want to go there and download that for free. And in that toolkit, you're going to see a lot of what I taught today. You're also going to see an action plan guide that you can fill out. I have a checklist there for you. I have other strategies there in the toolkit for you. So I want you to head over and be sure and download that toolkit, because you're actually also going to get examples of activities that you can actually incorporate into your classroom. So head over and get your success tool today. Thank you once again for joining me. I'm Marsha Lynn Hudson, and don't forget, you are the secret sauce to your success.
Well, thank you so much. Can't thank you enough, Miss Marsha, for this in depth insight and an apt elaboration on multicultural education. We all do agree and hold this opinion very strongly that multicultural education values different student cultures and prepares students to thrive in a diverse world. At its core, multicultural education fosters equality, justice, and equity, and it also establishes the reality of philosophical ideals in classroom environments. And I hope the audience would definitely must have got a very clear cut idea that teaching for diversity refers to acknowledging a range of differences in a classroom. Teaching for inclusion signifies embracing differences. Teaching for equity allows the differences to transform the way we think, the way we teach, the way we learn and act, such that all experiences and ways of being are handled with fairness and justice. I hope all of you must have enjoyed this elaboration and this talk, live talk given by Miss Marsha all the way from Texas. And do grab your gift as soon as possible and log into the site that ma'am has given us today. Thank you very much, ma'am. And if you all also wish to partner with us, we request you and invite you to join hands for Disruptive Literacy Education Movement taken up by Global Education and Training Institute. Please mail us at Global Education, globaldream.guru, or WhatsApp or call us at 91740 Till we meet again in a next informative talk, just like this, the way we had it today. We'll see you in the next talk very soon. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Marsha, for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.